Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We're here in Leeds. We've just had the weigh-in. The fight is on. Both fighters made weight. They looked good on the scales as well, didn't they, Frank?
Very good, very good. And we got a main event. It's finally here. Years and years in the making. Delays, and we're finally nearly there. Just over 24 hours to go, and what a fight! You know, two of the best coming together. It's exactly what we need. You know, to keep the sport. After what we had last weekend, this is the great fight to follow up with. You know, we're going to have such a huge audience on Saturday night, and I'm just buzzing for it.
Obviously, at the launch presses, it was quite hostile. Then yesterday, it was quite tame. Are you glad that there was that little bit of push and pull, just that extra little kind of thing to get over the line?
I think it was inevitable. Got to be honest. I think the last few days or the last few weeks, it's been sort of. I want to get there now. I want to make weight. You know, look, they're pushing themselves to make weight. And I think today was everything we expected. You know, the press conference very respectable. I'm sure they respect each other's ability, but there is a lot of dislike there, and you've seen that in the build-up. But I think it's been such a long time coming. They just wanted to get in there, and like I say, just over 24 hours away now, and we're going to see a great fight tomorrow night.
Yeah, look, sold out Leeds Arena. Big viewing figures for the zone expected off the back of last week. Yeah, massive numbers last week, so obviously following into this week is going to be huge. And again, like I say, exactly the kind of fight and the level of fight we need to deliver, especially after a weekend like last. You know, you got such a huge fan base coming in, which was a great fight last Saturday, and I think this will be a great fight as well. You know, a great fight. You as promoters feel the pressure to put on these sort of fights in the UK?
Of course we feel the pressure. We want to put on the best possible fights. You know, we want to put on great shows, great fight nights, and this was an event and a fight we wanted to make sure we made happen. We pushed very hard to get this over the line. You know, DAZN supported us to get it done. Off pay-per-view as well, you know, because remember when this was on Sky before or announced for Sky, it was a pay-per-view fight. You know, so it's something we pushed very hard for, and I'm glad we could get it over the line. It's exactly what we said we'd deliver. And yeah, it's something that we are under pressure to deliver big fights. You know, especially with everything going on all around the world, with big shows going on all around the world, which is great for boxing. We want to make sure we're delivering big nights, and you're going to see that in Leeds tomorrow night.
Ellis Zorro on this card. Shabazz Massoud just announced to be fighting Liam Davis on a Queensbury card. Are we going to see more of that now?
100%. It's great fights. It's, you know, making great fights happen, taking away the history. And making great fights happen, which is, you know, Chef Clark Ellis Zorro is a brilliant fight. Obviously, Ellis Zorro coming off the back of that Jaya Pataya fight. You know, we all know how good Jaya Pataya is and what he does. And yeah, like you say, Shabazz Massoud announced as well for the Liam Davis fight on July 20 with Queensbury. So it's good. We need to see more of it, and I'm sure we will.
Now you are working with them, and I'm sure it's amicable, I'm sure you're doing business. Do you ever wonder why couldn't we do this 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago?
Just didn't really know each other, did we? Or as a group, you know. So, and a lot of it was driven by this, is the reality. He said this, you said this, she said this, they said this, and that's...
boring now, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it will always be there, though. It's always going to be there. There's always going to be disagreements between people, but at the end of the day, when it comes to the relationship now, I think it's beneficial for the sport of boxing. And, you know, when you actually sit down and get to know someone, different story. But when you're listening to things, when you're told things, when standing with you and you're going, did you hear what Frank Warren said about this? You know, that creates something that maybe isn't even there. And the reality is, when we all sit down, we got along and we've done good things together, and we'll continue to do many good things together.
Just going back to the main event tomorrow night, obviously the first fight was surrounded by controversy around the judges. Are both teams happy with the judges and the referee put in place?
Yeah, obviously, look, the British Boxing Board of Control, who run the sport in the UK, have put that together, and yeah, I believe both teams are happy, no complaints from either side, and yeah, hoping just for a fair fight, and I'm sure we will see that.
You mentioned Jaya Pataya there. What is next for Jaya? Because he wants the unifications, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. And look, there's talk about heavyweight as well. Maybe it's a bit too early for that. But, you know, lots of opportunities for Jaya Pataya. He had a tough fight, though, against Breedis. It wasn't a walk in the park. You know, we've seen him we've seen what he's done in his last couple of fights before that. But it was a tough fight against Breeders, and I think he'll need a bit of time now and get back in there. But there's big fights to be made. You know, he's a star in the sport. There's a lot of talk about a lot of opportunities. So we'll see.
Any update on Wood Warrington 2? Hearing whispers that it could be close.
Hopefully, I got some meetings this weekend. I spoke to Josh the other day. I'm seeing Lee tomorrow as well. Hopefully, you know, I think it's a great fight. It's a fight where it's another fight like this we want to see happen. You know, domestic fights, what people buy into. We had 11,000, 12,000 in Sheffield for that last time, and we want to see another night like that. It's exactly what we need to deliver. So hopefully, some news soon.
Another neutral venue for that fight.
Possibly. I like the idea of the new Co-op arena, the new arena in Manchester. If
it opens.
No, it's open now.
Oh, is it open now?
We've had a few events. They had Peter Kay last night. You know, we've been in talks with them for a while, but I think that would be a brilliant venue. But let's see.
Yeah, look, those two, since the first fight, have really kind of gone into each other. When you talk about hate runs deep for this fight, it's the same, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, look, the first fight, there was a lot of respect there. Wasn't much said between the two, but post that fight, there's been a lot of back and forth. And there's real dislike there between the two of them. But, you know, it's a fight that people are interested in. You know, Josh Warrington, what was it, 7 rounds in, something like that? He was well ahead in the fight, but Lee Wood, as he does time and time again, found a way. And I think there's a lot of intrigue still in that fight, and I think, you know, like I say, it's something we're pushing hard to make happen.
Chances are that fight, if it does land, it will be at Super Feather?
Possibly, yeah. But we've still got to make the fight. We've still got to make a few details, get it over the line, so hopefully we can get that done soon.
Yesterday we got the news that Ryan Garcia's B sample did test positive. Just get your reaction to that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a process they're still going through, and I'm sure as soon as more details available, it will be released. In terms of, you know, that there'll be a lot of back and forth now, so we'll see what happens.
Are you involved in the process with Devin Haney to try and kind of get this overturned? What he's saying, he wants disqualification. Not
me particularly. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of discussions going on, but. You know, these things take time, as we've seen. You know, these things take time, and but I'm sure as and when there's information, it will be out there.
Next week in Saudi, are you looking forward to it? It's going to be fun, isn't it?
Can't wait. The 5v5, I think we're going to win 7-0.
7-0.
Don't know where we make that up from, but I think we'll win 5-0.
Do you genuinely think all 5?
I think they're all great fights. I think some are closer than others. I have my favourites. But
what is your favourite?
I'm not telling you. But I think we can win all the fights. Yeah. But you know, it's going to be it's a tough ask. But it's going to be a great night of fights, and it's really captured the imagination. We're finally seeing it. Matchroom v Queensbury.
Are you all going to roll back the ears and start talking shit?
Like that in the press conference, bang, and then I'll get clipped and no.
Andy Ayling sparked you out.
Yeah, we're best of friends then. No, I think. Look, we want our guys to win, so we'll be firing up for them. But you know, I'm sure we'll still be friends at the end of it.
Is there a chance we'll see another Matchroom v Queensbury of some style at Wembley?
I'm not sure Wembley. I'm not sure. There's definitely going to be more opportunities to do things like this together. Like I say, you see how much it's captured the imagination, and fights that maybe, you know, certain fights that maybe historically wouldn't have got as much of a push because of the whole situation, I think are getting a much bigger push. So I think it's good. I think it's good for the fighters. I think people buy into these concepts. So I definitely think we'll see more of it.
You talk about these concepts. If there is a UK versus US show, that one will really blow up, isn't it? Because there's a lot of US promoters that aren't fond of Matchroom, and Eddie Hearn in particular. Yeah,
that'll proper go off, won't it? We'll be having it on the cobbles outside. There's lots of good opportunities and lots of fights to be made. You know, lots of promoters to do it with. So let's see.
Just finally, I know you announced Fisher Babbage for the Next Gen card. The amount of fans in there that night, that shouldn't even be labelled a Next Gen card. Surely that's going to be the most populated Next Gen you've ever done?
Populated?
Yeah. Is that the right terminology?
If it is, no, I'm not saying it's wrong. I just like it. Yeah, brilliant show, brilliant event. Look, we all know what Johnny Fisher does. I think we're going to have 7,500, 8,000 in there for that. You know, he's built a huge profile for himself, so has Big John as well. And I think, yeah, we're going to have a massive audience. And I'm excited for it. because it's, we've got the football as well around that time. England could be playing in the afternoon as well, possibly.
So I think
It's England, Croatia, couldn't it?
So it could be England, Italy, or England, Croatia. One of them's 5 p.m, one of them's 8 p.m.
Well, if it's 8 p.m, we'll have to figure something out. Maybe we'll
Josh Warrington here.
And if it's 5 p.m, we'll do a little fan zone. So we'll do something fun like we did before. But it's going to be a great night, and the Copper Bosch is going to be going off.
I like it, mate. I like it. News on that undercard pending?
Soon, yeah. I think next week we'll get something out on that.
Excellent. FrankSmith, thank you very much for speaking to IFLTV. And tune in to The Zone tomorrow night. Hate runs deep.
Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.